I'm going to start this video by going straight into a rant. What the hell's going on in this world right now? Let's start with politics, for instance, okay? Find the worst possible example of a human being. The most corrupt, the most disgusting, the dumbest, the ugliest, the most pathetic, the most damaging, the most emotionally immature human being you could possibly find, and give him the most powerful position on the planet that gives him pretty much immunity to do whatever the hell he wants. Who the fuck put him in charge? And then does it a second time. Okay. Climate. It's clear the world is starting to fall apart. Just forest fires across the entire planet. Floods. I had a flood down here and it destroyed all the floors in my basement and I had to have them all replaced a couple of years ago. Hurricanes and tornadoes in places that are unprecedented. Climate shifts and temperatures we've never seen before. Ecosystems dying. Yet we still keep pumping trillions of dollars into making the problem worse and doing everything in our power to stop the things that could improve the situation, like solar or wind power, because some lobbyist says so? Where are the leaders? Where are the people who are supposedly looking out after humanity? You're supposed to be taking care of your people. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. Now, let's talk about the cost of living. Back when I was a kid, back in the 1980s, my mother struggled to buy a decent-sized home on the salary of a fine artist, single mother of 3. Tough times she lived in. Now, I'm in my 50s. It's a 2-salary home, and we have a very modest home and still need to work hard to make sure we keep up with our finances. It took me 50 fucking years to get to this point. This is the first house we own. And is there any prospect that somebody in their 20s could possibly even fathom the idea of ever buying a home for themselves? Duh. No. Now take artists, for instance. You know, back in the day, it was always hard to be an artist. And Anthony Jones put out a great video recently. Art has always been hard. The gaming industry's always been challenging. Yeah, okay. But then you throw AI into the mix. And all of a sudden, now something that humanity has nurtured and developed over thousands of years has now been ripped off by some tech bro and turned into some factory churning out garbage imagery and completely undermining every artist that has preceded it to produce this bullshit, to produce this garbage with some false promise of what? Nobody wants it. So you're destroying jobs and replacing it with garbage. What the hell for? Nobody asked for it in the first place, but you keep doing it. You keep destroying things. Why? Who does this serve? I hope you can understand just how fed up I am with the way things are right now on the planet. And I've become more and more and more fed up since I was in my 20s and then into my 30s and 40s and now into my 50s, now in my 50s. And I look back and I see a bunch of kids, my kids, in their teens and their 20s, trying, by some miracle, some absolute miracle of nature, to have a future in this? To build a future in this? To which I ask the very simple question, what the fuck for? What the fuck are they building a future for? What kind of future do they have? With the way the state of the world is right now. They're going to have no climate. Everybody's going to be living indoors because they won't be able to live outdoors because it'll be too fucking dangerous to live outdoors. Nobody will be able to afford anything remotely close to a decent home at this pace. The state of medical care will be completely gone to shit. And God only knows what horrible state of government we're going to live in if this shit keeps up. And yet these old tired old fucks just keep getting away with it. I'm in my 50s right now. But if I was in my 20s, I don't know what the fuck I think. It's like the world shut its doors on humanity, didn't it? To serve some selfish few. Which, despite everything I just said and fucking meant, makes me incredibly impressed by how optimistic so many of you 20-year-olds are. Because despite all this bullshit, I still find myself surrounded by some of the most talented, hopeful, empathetic, kind, compassionate, skilled, creative, mature human beings I've ever met. When I look back at those old fuckers destroying the planet, I see nothing but death and destruction. I see dystopia. But when I look at the present and I look at the future, and I take these people, I take this generation of people, these people in their 20s, and I put them into that future, and I picture myself in the future with them, my perspective completely takes a 180. I go from feeling completely dark and emotionally ruined to feeling hopeful and optimistic and excited. If you're an artist going through what I'm going to call your quarter life crisis, which you have a fucking right to have, because it's one of the hardest, most challenging, yet most exciting moments in your life, and you're feeling completely discouraged and down in your dumps, I want you to remember something really, really important. And something that I've learned now that I'm 50 and I can look back to when I was in my 20s. You're not a victim of corrupt politics. You're not a victim of climate change. You're not a victim of old, corrupt, disgusting human beings. You are the future. You're the future. Who you are right now and what you represent is going to represent the future that we're going to have in the next 20 years. The 80s might have been super fun when I was a kid, and so were the 90s and the 2000s. But there was also a lot of bullshit back then. When I was back in high school, we had to live through a big turning point in racism because things like rap and hip hop became mainstream. And I wanted to be a part of that trend because I loved the music and I loved the culture. But there was friction back then. There was a lot of racial friction, and we overcame that. I saw that pendulum swing dramatically in the opposite direction and then settle down into a world where now we all celebrate the same music together, be it Latin music or be it hip hop or rap music or Indian music. We share these cultures together. Back in the day, back in the 1980s, go watch an old 80s film. The sexism and the racism was all over the place. It was mainstream. It was normalized. Nobody even gave it a second thought. Now people do. Think about what anybody who is a member of the LGBTQ community needed to endure. The violence, the murder, the humiliation, the taking of one's own life. That was rampant. Still exists today. But think about how your generation has turned the tides. You are not listening to old, washed out old bigots with old misogynistic or sexist views or non-inclusive, non-progressive views. You're not putting up with it, are you? And you are making that change happen. Your generation is healing this planet, aren't you? As you approach my age, you start to realize something. Mother Nature is a wonderful thing. She brings us beauty, she brings us life, but you know what she also brings us? One of the most wonderful things in the world. Death. And all of that gross corruption that you're dealing with today is only continuing to exist today because the corrupt, gross human beings that are causing this damage are trying to make one last ditch effort to fill their pocketbooks, to be greedy, to try to salvage this corrupt system before they expire. Listen, I'm not worried about corrupt politicians, be it that, as one of my students call it, that orange ball sack in the White House right now, or anybody else who's stirring up shit. There's one thing they can never avoid: expiring. No matter how hard he tries, no matter how big he thinks he is, Mother Nature's going to go, oh, that was fun. Off you go. Like a dandruff, he'll be gone. And that'll be it. What good is money when you're dead? That only serves the people that are still alive. It doesn't serve you anymore. All of these people that are fighting to keep their pocketbooks filled at the cost of everybody else's health and well-being, they'll be gone. And you know what's going to be left behind? Thankfully, you. You will. So my advice to you today, as an artist, as a creator, as a human being on this planet, worried and scared about where your future is going to go and wondering whether or not you have a future in the first place, don't worry about the present. Worry about that future you're going to have. And I want you to plan ahead for that future you want, because the future is going to be you. The quality of the person you become today, being the best version of yourself today, taking care of your health, taking care of your mind, taking care of your emotional maturity, taking care of your exercise and your family, learning skills like compassion and empathy and generosity and a sense of community, building this today, nurturing this aspect of your life today, and the aspect of the people around you that you care about, your community, your family, your friends, is going to lead to a future where more and more and more people like you, high quality people, will exist. And all of those old, washed out, dead trillionaires will be gone. They'll turn to dust and they'll be forgotten. They'll be forgotten. But the quality that you are today won't. Are you worried about artificial intelligence? Don't be. You know why? Because you're already rejecting it. You're already making those big trillion-dollar companies sweat, because they're pumping as much as they can into promoting it, pushing it. But I haven't listened to one talented creative person, Steven Spielberg, Guillermo del Toro, all of these fine artists and illustrators, designers, fashion designers, any of them say, I want anything to do with that garbage. That doesn't represent me, because I represent humanity. My work is a demonstration of the quality of who we are as people. And AI has nothing to do with that. All that is code. That means nothing to me. The more you reject it, the tighter and tighter and tighter the noose gets around their necks until eventually the bubble pops. And all you have to do is keep being yourself. Keep not using it. Keep rejecting it, because you're the only one with the creative ability to be able to do anything, to innovate with that. You just continue worrying about being your awesome self. In the next 20, 30 years, you're going to be the one who's leading it. In the next 20, 30 years, you're the next creator. You're going to be the next artist, the next filmmaker, the next dancer, the next tattoo artist, the next comedian. And all of those old, despicable, disgusting creatures running the world right now, just like Aldrich, the saint of the deep, they will consume so many men that their bodies will bloat like drowned pigs and soften into sludge. Remember that you are the reason why I look forward to the future. So make sure that you take excellent care of yourself, because we're going to need you in the next 20, 30 years. Okay? With that said, I love you all with all my heart, and happy painting. Take care.